Travel Robot Presence. Top 10 Things to Do in Romania. Here is the list of to-do things in Romania. The mysterious and alluring country of Romania is guaranteed to captivate you from the moment you cross the border. Although many people link this relatively untouched destination to Transylvania and Dracula, there are so many more things to do in Romania. Marked by towering medieval castles and ancient fortified churches, Romania has no shortage of jaw-dropping architectural achievements. It's also home to some of the most dramatic landscapes on the planet, including the Carpathian Mountains and the Danube River. If you're looking for a country rich in history and full of outdoor adventure, then look no further than Romania. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our future updates. Let's start the video. Number 1. Corvin Castle. The Corvin Castle is a stellar example of traditional Transylvanian architecture. Built in the 15th century by Hungarian military leader John Hunyadi, the castle's massive stone towers and brightly colored roofs can be seen from miles around. It's perched atop a rocky cliff overlooking the city of Hunedoara and the Zlatse River. Not only is Corvin Castle one of the largest castles in Europe, but its history is also steeped in mysterious legends. It is believed to be the residence of Vlad the Impaler. Many visitors also argue that it was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula. Number 2. Statue of King Decebalus. The statue of King Decebalus may be one of the most unique things you'll see in Romania. As you sail through the iron gates on the Danube River, you'll encounter a 141-foot-high face of Decebalus carved into the side of a rock. This sculpture honors this last king, who fought for the country's independence against the Roman emperors Domitian and Trajan. Number 3. Palace of Parliament, Bucharest. The imposing Palace of Parliament in Bucharest is a spectacular architectural achievement. Designed by over 700 architects, this massive structure is the heaviest and most expensive administrative building in the world. Composed of 23 sections, it is constructed with materials like crystals, marble, wood, and carpet entirely of Romanian origin. The Palace of Parliament houses both the Senate and the Chamber of Deputies. Besides being an administration building, the Palace of Parliament also has 3 on-site museums and an international convention center. However, roughly 70% of the building remains empty due to seasonal events and conferences. Number 4. Sarmizegetusa Regia. Step back in time with a visit to the ancient capital of Sarmizegetusa Regia. It was built an astounding 2,000 years ago as the central defense system of the Dacian Empire to protect against Roman conquering. During your visit, you'll be able to see the layout of different buildings that were used, including the giant quadrilateral fortress as well as workshops, houses, and water pipe systems. As you walk through the ruins and stone fragments, you'll be able to imagine what daily life was like for the Dacians. The ancient site reached its greatest development under King Decebalus, before the Roman conquest from the early 2nd century AD. The victorious Romans extended the fortifications on a surface 3 times larger than before, but abandoned the site after building their new capital at Ulpia Traiana Sarmizegetusa. Very few ruins remain today from the ancient Dacian capital, and many questions remain unanswered. The archaeological research from the 20th century brought to light 3 distinct structures: the sacred area, the fortifications, and the civil housing area. The discovered artifacts, water supply systems, ceramics, thousands of iron objects, indicate the life of a flourishing ancient community. You can still see fragments of the fortification walls from Roman time and a 200-meter segment from the paved road that link this part to the sacred area. The ruins of 7 temples, 2 circular and 5 rectangular, and 1 monumental altar for sacrifices, shed some light on the rich spiritual life of the Dacians. Number 5. Palace of Culture, Iasi. It's hard to miss the monumental Palace of Culture, which towers over the bustling city of Iasi. Located on the former grounds of the princely palace, the Palace of Culture was used as an administration building and courthouse until 1955. It now contains 4 different museums: the History Museum, the Ethnographic Museum, the Science Museum, and the Art Museum. Besides the museums, the palace has almost 300 different rooms and halls. One of the most notable rooms is Voivode's Hall, which is ornately decorated and filled with paintings of kings, emperors, and royal families. You can also walk up to the clock tower for panoramic views outside the palace. Throughout time, the Sarmizegetusa citadel has seen many tragic moments: the Mongol invasion, rebellions, fires, witch trials, and executions. Tradition called for each corporation of craftsmen to erect a defense tower. Out of the 14 towers built originally, 9 survive to this day. The most famous of them, the clock tower, was used in the past as a holding cell for prisoners sentenced to death. In modern times, it was transformed into a museum, hosting a collection of weapons and military equipment, as well as a torture chamber. Each summer, the medieval festival brings back to life the city's fairy tale past. Its streets are then filled with troubadours and acrobats, kings and queens, knights and princesses, witches and inquisitors. I heard several years ago from some friends of mine about the Sarmizegetusa Medieval Festival, but for some reason, I was never tempted to go to see it for myself. This changed one day when a friend of mine from Romania called and asked me to join him at the festival. I didn't have anything better to do, so I grabbed some things and took the first flight to Bucharest. Once there, I rented a car, and 5.5 hours later, I was in Sarmizegetusa. The festival was supposed to start next day, so I met up with my friend and we went to our hotel, which was a bit far from the city center, as all the best places were already fully booked. I must confess, I didn't know much about Sarmizegetusa, nor had I the best feeling about this trip. But all of this changed the next morning when I saw the Sarmizegetusa citadel in all its beauty. At first, it seemed like I was visiting a movie set filled with costumed actors. But in fact, everything was very real and contagiously happy. The citadel was full of people dressed in medieval clothes, walking, shopping, acting as if they were truly living in the Middle Ages. As a huge Game of Thrones fan, seeing all that medieval turmoil was quite exciting. But there was no place for battles or plots, only for fun, laughs, and good vibes. Number 6. Sarmizegetusa Citadel. As one of the best preserved medieval towns in all of Romania, the Sarmizegetusa Citadel is a must-see attraction to add to your itinerary. This historic city was built in the 12th century and is most notably known as the birthplace of Vlad the Impaler. As you walk the winding streets through the old city, you'll see charming city squares and brightly painted houses. Don't forget to visit the Sarmizegetusa Clock Tower, which sits in the heart of the village. By spending a few hours in this picturesque town, you'll start to truly soak in the history and culture of the Transylvanian Saxons. Number 7. Mary Cemetery, Sapanta. Visiting a cemetery might not be at the top of every traveler's to-do list. However, the Mary Cemetery in Sapanta is unlike any cemetery in the world, and one of those places you must visit during your trip to Romania. On the 800 or so colorful tombstones, you'll find poems and illustrated pictures depicting the life stories of the people that are buried there. Some of the stories are symbolic, but many of them are joyful and even humorous. Don't forget to look closely at the illustrations. They often explain how the person died. Number 8. Poiana Brasov. The mountainous resort of Poiana Brasov is an outdoor lover's paradise. You can come throughout the year and enjoy a plethora of sports and outdoor activities. During the winter, it's a popular destination for skiing, ice skating, and tubing. In the summer, the slopes are full of hikers, cyclists, and horseback riders. Even if you aren't the adventurous type, you can still enjoy a visit to Poiana Brasov. The town is filled with bustling hotels, restaurants, and even nightclubs. You can also indulge in traditional cuisine and alcoholic drinks, like the famous pepper-spiced tuica. Number 9. Danube Delta. Flowing across Romania and into Ukraine is the Danube Delta, the second largest river delta in all of Europe. As you navigate through the narrow canals into the Black Sea, you'll cross wetlands and marshes teeming with numerous plants and animals. The water is home to an abundance of marine life, like carp, mollusks, and sturgeons. The delta is also home to a variety of bird species, including the rare pygmy cormorant. Much of the delta can only be reached by boat, so it's a good idea to join a cruise or tour in order to make the most of your visit. Number 10. Sibiu Big Square. Nicknamed the Little Vienna of Romania, Sibiu is a quaint, colorful town lined with charming Baroque houses and Gothic buildings. In its center is the Big Square, a beautiful plaza that is dotted with hotels, shops, and restaurants. It's been around for over 500 years and continues to be the center of daily life and the beating heart of the city. In the middle of the square, you'll find a statue of Street John Nepomuc, the square's main attraction. Grab some lunch or a cup of coffee and relax while admiring the view of one of Romania's most beloved squares. That brings us to the end of this video. If you love similar content like this, take a look at my other videos. And if you like it, please smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. If you have further questions, feel free to comment down below. See you in the next video.